Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Citizen Kane, a movie regarded as being the best film to ever be created, came out in 1941. It's been a very, very long time. Almost 80 years since that movie came out. Directed by Orson Welles, and starring Orson Welles, who was 24 at the time. Written by Herman Mankiewicz, which I talked about. Mank, new movie out on Netflix, just came out. Who follows Mank during his creation and inspiration of writing Citizen Kane, which was basically a movie loosely about the Hearst Empire, Hearst Castle. What's his name? I forget his name. His full name, Hearst. But anyway, Hearst is represented by Charles Foster Kane in this movie. Who it starts. I mean, first off, I'd never seen Citizen Kane, always heard blah, 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 best movie ever. I don't know if it's the best movie ever, but it is amazing to watch this film. First off, the fact that Orson Welles was 24 when he directed it, crazy. The aesthetics of the film are beautiful. Like, every shot has an amazing composition, very unique type of a composition, almost has like a surreal quality to it. But also, the contrast is ramped up. One thing that Mank did not have, Mank had a lot of grayscale involved in the look of the film. This had a lot of black. There's a lot of black on screen, and it really frames the shot and gives each shot a beautiful composition. Not only that, but the way it was, the camera angles that were used, the effects that were used. Like, there's a lot of things in Citizen Kane that made it look like just amazing, like things that you would see like modern day directors kind of doing as far as creatively, that you really just didn't see that much, and it was because he never did. He broke all the rules because he didn't know there were any rules, which I love. I love the fact that I am a person who believes that a lot of the quote unquote rules of creating art are bullshit. They're examples of ways other people have found success in a thing. They're not the only path. They're just one of an infinite amount of ways you can accomplish creating something. And Orson Welles, because he didn't have the burden of rules, was able to really create something that stood out and lasts the test of time, which I believe it does, as well as the aging makeup. The aging makeup in Citizen Kane, apparently all the actors were young actors, so when they played older people, including Orson Welles, who was 24, also starring in this movie as Charles Foster Kane, they all looked amazing. I mean, it was all believable, more so than most movies today, who use like way bigger budgets and special effects, don't pull off as believable effects as the aging makeup. But aside from that, the movie is well made. There's a line in Mank where Mank is talking about Citizen Kane and how it's written like a cinnamon roll, how it keeps spiraling around. And this movie literally starts off explaining the entire story in newsreel form, previews the entire story, right? It might as well have been a trailer for the movie. If what trailers are to most movies today, they give away every part of this movie. So it starts off giving you the overview of the entire story that you're about to watch, and then it goes into, it time jumps a bunch, but then it goes into giving you all the details of kind of the rise of Kane, of Charles Kane, how he was a kid growing up in Colorado, and he's literally given away, like, his family came into money, so they decided to send Charles Foster Kane away to grow up with this other dude, to raise him to be raise him to be whatever a proper billionaire, millionaire should be acting like. So his childhood was taken away from him, and he's always had this chip on his shoulder, very similar to Mank. It's very much a revenge film where Charles Foster Kane wants to seek revenge for the childhood that was stripped away from him. Kind of using his money to buy a media company, and using that media company to put out propaganda to attack the guy that raised him, to attack other like wealthy people. But it's one of those things where he realizes the power he has, and he ends up, the combination of having the power to do anything and to create the realities you want to, running a newspaper that spews propaganda. He got full of himself. It's the kind of, he intended on being kind of this warrior for the downtrodden person, and ended up being the thing that he was fighting against, which is amazing. I mean, it is a really well made movie, really well told. It is a little slow, but I think that's more of of the time. The acting is very much the older kind of style acting that you do see in Mank as well. It's very much performative, like more like actors from a play, which I believe all of the actors were were stage actors at the time, not actual film actors. But yeah, just kind of a crazy movie that also you could compare to. I mean, it's definitely a shot at William Randolph Hearst, right? The movie is for sure a critique on that. But also it could easily be the Trump administration, with just a guy that never had to earn anything, uses his money to get whatever he wants, fails many times, and when he does fail, like there's a scene of an election where Kane is trying to become mayor, and he using his power of the media to try and become mayor. He still loses, but after he loses, he calls it a fraud, similar to what Trump is doing. He loses. Not only, I mean, Trump has lost both elections technically. He won the electoral vote when he first got elected in, but he's never won the popular vote of either of the elections, and got destroyed in the electoral vote in this past one. But then, cries about it. He's like a child that never grew up. They're cranky children that never grew up. They had their childhood taken away. They're forced to grow up in the reality of wealth, which is very fake, very unreal. But then they understand that they have this power. Soon they get old enough to realize what money can do, and they take out their frustrations of being a cranky child on the world. And that's what Trump is doing. And that's what Citizen Kane did. He whines and cries because he didn't get his way. He didn't get what he wanted. Somebody took away his baba, and now he's crying, and it's just everybody else's fault. Nothing really happened. He's still fine. He's still the best. But yeah, it's very, very similar things and going on. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the movie very much. It's how he portrays Citizen Kane's relationship. He goes through. He has two relationships. One, it's getting stale. The more money he gets, the farther away he feels from his wife, the farther disconnected he is. And then he runs into this young, beautiful singer, and he kind of, it reignites that childhood kind of like just energy. So he ends up cheating on his wife and going with this singer, and because during like that relationship was used to ruin his mayoral election, so to get revenge for not getting that, and for the other media to like downplay his new girlfriend or his wife as being a quote unquote singer, he spent his money to try and get what he wants again. He started producing all this stuff for her, tried to get lessons for her to try her to make her become some elite singer, and she just wasn't. She just wasn't, and it's something that he wanted to take shortcuts to develop somebody who should have been developing from, there for a decade. He wanted to jumpstart it with his money, and he tried to fabricate talent. He tried to, buy, buy, buy his revenge. Use money to get his revenge, which is funny because the character is trying to get revenge on people. The movie was written by somebody trying to get revenge on those same types of people. It's really interesting. I really enjoy not only this movie, but I also enjoy the watching Citizen Kane with Mank. I think that they're two movies that complement each other quite a bit. It's like the Star Wars movie that was the prequel to the very first movie, where it's like all about how they get the Star Destroyer's plans. Right? It makes the very first Star Wars movie way better. Like they complement each other quite a bit. And they're very like meta. It's all a ball of wine that very like onions. There's layers to it. It really adds a lot to each other. I think Citizen Kane is a better piece of art, but I think what Mank adds to Citizen Kane really is, it's almost it almost feels like Synecdoche, New York, directed by Charlie Kaufman. Very meta, very like repetitive, showing layers upon layers of different expressions. I mean, even in the movie of Citizen Kane, there's a scene where Kane is walking through his mansion and he's going through a hallway that has double mirrors, and you get that kind of almost look of infinite universes going through, and it's very much what this movie and Mank kind of combined to feel like. But really good movie. I'm glad I watched it, and it makes for a double feature with Mank that I would highly recommend. I would say watch Citizen Kane first, and then watch Mank. Even though Mank is the kind of the making of Citizen Kane, it's kind of a weird because it's a step out of Citizen Kane, the fictional piece. Mank is kind of the making of, but it's a fictional take on the making of this. It's crazy layers, but I enjoyed it. So check it out. It's on HBO Max right now, but I'm sure it's around. Citizen Kane, you've heard of it. Sign up for Ting's cell phone service. They have super cheap cell phone plans. You only pay for what you use, and you get $25 for credit when you go through my link, inspireddisorder.com/Ting. Use that $25 for your bill for a new phone. If you already have a phone, bring it on over. I love Ting. I've been using them for years, and I think you'll love them too and love saving money. Get yourself $25 in credit. Go through my link, inspireddisorder.com/Ting. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/Inspired Disorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com and follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!